Our teachers are the foundation of our society, and the support, the time, the energy, the care and compassion they put into guiding our children provides our kids with tremendous opportunity. It allows them to meet their potential and find incredible success in life. And we are so proud this evening to be able to recognize this group of retiring teachers who've dedicated so much to our kids and our community. So I'm going to ask each administrator to come up and read a bio on their retiring teacher. I guess we'll start with Dr. Gadd again. We can come right back up.
Thank you, Dr. Solman. I'm going to talk about our retirees. There are two from Cheshire High School. I'm going to go in reverse alphabetical order. And the first is our outgoing athletic director, Mr. Steve Trefone. Steve Trefone is a model educator in person. As a Cheshire Public Schools employee for 35 years, Steve has been a pillar of the Cheshire community, and he is a beloved member of the Cheshire High School faculty. Steve was hired as a career and technical education teacher in 1988 and became the Career and Technical Education Department Chair in 2009. He was a coach for decades before becoming our Assistant Athletic Director in 2002 and our Athletic Director in 2003. His unparalleled passion for athletics and his desire to help each athlete make the most of their experience has positively shaped thousands of CHS graduates. Because of his deep knowledge of our school and system, Steve is the go-to person at CHS beyond athletics. Wherever there is a student event, Steve is there, the guide on the side, ensuring everything runs smoothly. He works quietly behind the scenes, putting coaches and athletes in a position to be successful in athletics and in life. He is absolutely dedicated to our students, and he has put his heart and soul into Cheshire Public Schools and Cheshire High School. What he does to support people away from the athletic arena is probably the most underrated part of who Steve is and what he means to our community. His leadership has built a legacy of trust and faith in him, and words cannot express how much he will be missed. We are sad to see his retirement drawing near, but we wish him nothing but the best. Congratulations, Steve. And here with us this evening is Mr. John Kuhner. John Kuhner earned his Bachelor of Arts in Music at the University of Texas and his Master of Music and Performance degree at UConn. John taught at Pomperaug Regional School District and Norwich Free Academy before joining Cheshire Public Schools. In 2001, John became our high school band and marching ram band director, and in 2003, he became our Cheshire Public Schools Music Department chair. In his 22 years of service in Cheshire, John has embodied his craft. Indeed, music and education has been a deep and abiding passion, a vocation, and an avocation for John. In his tenure, he has educated hundreds of musicians, made strong connections with our ever-supportive Band Parents Association and the larger Cheshire community. The Marching Ram Band is a feature of the annual Memorial Day Parade. The annual Music in Motion event hosted at Cheshire High School welcomes at least 100 high school and collegiate marching bands from across Connecticut. At school events and community events, the marching band is there. The drum line welcomes our football team at home games, and the band whips up the crowd before taking to the field to perform parts of the annual show at halftime. Being a marching band director is a lifestyle, not a job. John has not only taught our students, but he has also impacted music education on a local and national stage as president of the Connecticut Music Educators Association and the Eastern Regional President of the National Association of Music Educators. From school performances where John would conduct in his tux, lending an air of professionalism that is a hallmark of our precise and polished bands, to countless local, regional, and national championships, John has supported and showcased not just the musical talents of our students, but also honed their skills as leaders. Here are just a few highlights, just a few of what John has accomplished over the decades. Cheshire has won the Best Communities for Music Education in America award since 2004, awarded by the National Association of Music Merchants. The Marching Ram Band Guard and Percussion teams won the Scholastic Open National Competition in 2006. Our Marching Ram Band were champions at the 2006 Tampa Bay Outback Bowl Marching Band Parade Competition. The Cheshire Marching Ram Band was the highest ranked Connecticut band in their division at the 2017 U.S. Bands Competition, and I could go on and on. John's accomplishments are too numerous to mention. As John makes his transition into his retirement, he does so with his wife Celine, his loving family, and his new grandson by his side. So, John, thank you for your service, and we all wish you great joy and happiness in your retirement.
To introduce our next honoree, Assistant Principal of Chapman School, Ms. Kathy Carlucci.
Good evening. I am here to read Rob Bryden's bio, which he decided he would like to write himself. So, I'm Rob. I have enjoyed teaching at Chapman School for the past 20 years. I was fortunate to have taught here while all 3 of my children attended Chapman. For me, this is truly a family school. During my retirement, my wife and I plan on traveling to Europe and on some warm winter vacations. One of my best memories at Chapman was visiting a nature center on a field trip when I taught 3rd grade. We had read the book Owl Moon for a writing lesson about 2 weeks before the trip. In the story, a young girl goes out owling in the middle of the night with her father. When the pair got to a clearing in the woods, the dad called out, "Hoot, hoot, hoot," and a great horned owl called back to him. At the nature center, there was a convalescing great horned owl. With a group of about 4 students, I called out to the owl and it called back. The students jumped up and down in amazement and the owl called back just like in the story. The best part of teaching at Chapman has been the connections I have made with parents and students. Living in the Chapman district means I see these parents and children around and our neighbors with many of them. I will miss all and am pleased to be a part of the Cheshire Public Schools.
Thank you, Kathy. To introduce our next retiree from Darcy School, Principal Kim Desert.
Hi, tonight I have the honor of talking about Maura Atro. Maura Atro began her career at Darcy School as a graduate intern with Lois Babby, and it was evident to Lois and Lois Rowe, the principal at the time, that Maura exhibited potential as a speech and language pathologist and also as an educator. So as a result, They created a position just for Maura. So they created a position through a grant from ACES. And as a young educator, Maura was mentored by Lois Rowe, whom Maura has acknowledged throughout her career as a major influence on her both professionally and personally. Maura is highly regarded as by colleagues and parents alike in the area of identifying a child's needs through our consultation center and play-based assessment. Maura, with good reason, will tell you that she is proud of the relationships that she has had collaborating with colleagues and families to create the best transdisciplinary team you can find in Connecticut that focuses on the whole child. During her time in Cheshire Public Schools, countless students have benefited from having Maura as a mentor. In addition to the staff she has collaborated with over the years that include both Darcy School, Highland School, Cheshire High School, and Quinnipiac. If you've had the privilege of working with Maura, observing her, or have had a child that benefits from Maura's area of expertise, it is clear that relationships have been key to her success. Her involvement as a facilitator for Circle of Security seemed natural as a result of her commitment to fostering relationships. For the last decade, Maura has inspired others to take on the role of facilitator once again, mentoring and sharing her passion and commitment to children. Maura has presented at Yale on numerous occasions, and they too, being impressed with her knowledge, continue to invite her back to share each year. On a personal note, Maura is a proud mother of 2 daughters. She and her husband, Joe, enjoy time on Martha's Vineyard. And Maura is looking forward to her daughter's wedding, which is happening in 2 weeks, and having the opportunity to spend more time at the vineyard. Maura will continue her work with Circle of Security and will continue to mentor students and colleagues at Darcy School. So thank you, Maura, for your time in Cheshire. We will truly miss you.
To recognize our retirees from Dodd Middle School, please welcome back Mr. Mike Woods.
It gives me great honor and a pleasure to recognize 2 of our retirees. I'll start out by saying that both our retirees have combined for 76 years of education between the 2 of them. First, I'd like to recognize Ms. Lisa Raska. Lisa Raska has served with Cheshire Public Schools since 1986. Lisa came to Cheshire High School as a history teacher, where she established a reputation with the students as an understanding and student-first person who was approachable. As class and club advisor, Lisa extended her role to many students as a role model and a confidant, many of who still keep in touch with her to this day. Lisa decided to change her role to a school counselor and worked at Chapman Elementary School before moving on to Dodd Middle School. Continuing on with her passion of advocating for students and teachers, Lisa made Dodd her home away from home until this year. During her years at Dodd, Lisa continued her work as several different club advisors and was a staple on the student trips, including the annual DC trip. Always willing to lend a hand, Lisa always remarked that Dodd was a family and that we handle our students like they are our own. Lisa was also the team leader of our pupil personnel services team at Dodd, who always carried a valued voice in taking on tasks and steering the direction of Dodd Middle School. In retirement, Lisa will be able to focus on her varied interests ranging from wood turning to photography in between her daughter's sporting events and family activities. Dodd Middle School is grateful, Lisa, for your 37 years of service and wishes you all the best in your retirement. Congratulations. Our next retiree from Dodd Middle School is Mr. James Goffin. Jim Goffin has served Cheshire Public Schools since 1976. Jim came to Cheshire High School as an English teacher where he taught students the classics that were embedded into the curriculum at that time. Always a passionate reader, Jim is a Renaissance man who has a wide breadth of knowledge on the world around us. We often call it Jim's version of the news. As our lead chef, and for our end of year breakfast, Jim was always excited to put on a large spread for all the teachers at Dodd. Jim is a veteran and often spoke to students about his experiences in the service to our country. Passionate about young students knowing the sacrifices of that our veterans face, Jim has always been an advocate of the military service. Jim came to Dodd to teach language arts for several years before taking on the role of language arts and social studies teacher. During his tenure at Dodd, Jim was a proud team leader of the 8th grade Green Team, who mentored several staff and was a valued voice in guiding the direction of Dodd Middle School. In retirement, Jim will be able to spend time with his family and friends and will never miss a minute of his beloved UConn basketball teams. Dodd Middle School is very grateful for your 40 years of service, Jim, and we wish you all the best in retirement.
Thank you, Mike. To recognize our retiree from Doolittle School, please welcome Assistant Principal Kristen Lopa.
We are honored to celebrate Tracy Agello as she begins her retirement. Tracy has spent many years in Cheshire Public Schools, beginning as a graduate from Cheshire High School. Tracy's been a teacher in Cheshire Public Schools since 1994. She began her Cheshire career at Dodd Middle School as a grade 7 science teacher. From 1996 to 1998, she worked as a learning initiative team member and then moved to her home, Doolittle School. At Doolittle School, Tracy taught 4th grade, 5th grade, and then most recently, she's been our art teacher. She is known for her creativity and her dedication to making fun and engaging learning experiences in her classroom. Tonight, we are celebrating and honoring the 29 years that Tracy dedicated to Cheshire Public Schools. Throughout her teaching career, Tracy received many accolades. She received the Presidential Award for Excellence in Science and Mathematics from the National Science Teachers Association in 1995. She also received National Board Certification in 2007. Tracy received many awards for professional, environmental, and humanitarian projects. Tracy Agello is a dedicated, passionate, and hardworking and creative teacher. You could find Tracy after hours creating fun and engaging projects in order to motivate all of her students. She always volunteered to present in our Doolittle town meetings and worked hard every day to inspire a love of learning in all of her students. Tracy Agello will never be forgotten at Doolittle. She will be remembered for her passion for teaching and ability to create memorable learning experiences for all of her students. We wish her the best of luck in her retirement and we thank her for her many years of dedication to Doolittle School.
And last but certainly not least, to recognize our retiring staff from Norton and a bit of Doolittle, please welcome Norton Principal Kelly Grillo.
And Kathy Carlucci, our assistant principal. I have the pleasure of recognizing tonight and honoring and thanking two fabulous teachers. The 2021 Teacher of the Year, Deb Menke, has taught at Norton Elementary for 35 years. It is hard to believe she will no longer be walking our halls come September. Deb originally majored in human development and family relations at UConn, but while interning in a child development lab, she met a teacher who altered her path. This teacher saw the spark, Deb's natural ability to teach and connect with students, so she persuaded Deb to pursue a career in education. Deb continued her studies at Southern Connecticut State University, where she received a master's in education and years later a 6-year degree. Deb grew up in Cheshire and attended the Cheshire Public Schools. So naturally, she came back to Cheshire looking to start her career. She was hired as an instructional assistant at Norton, but a few months later, Norton was overcrowded and needed to add a classroom. How ironic. So Deb was moved into that teaching position. She's taught at Norton every year since, and she couldn't be prouder to be part of our team. In fact, what Deb is most proud of is that she stayed in Cheshire all these years. She deeply cares for our community and believes that Cheshire and the school district have given her everything she has today. Next fall, Deb will not return to her classroom, but she will still be in our hearts. You may find her reading one of the many books on her list, tending to her garden, or walking her dog. Whatever she decides to do, we wish her peace and happiness. But most of all, we hope she feels the gratitude and appreciation from her former students, colleagues, and our community. Thank you, Deb. Next, I would like to recognize Rich Szulczewski. In 1988, Rich graduated from Central Connecticut State University with a bachelor's and master's degree in music education. He taught in Plymouth, New Britain, and East Haven public schools before arriving here in Cheshire. Fortunately for us, a friend convinced him to apply for a last-minute August opening for Darcy and Highland schools, and he got the job. Since 1996, Rich has been sharing his passion for music with our students. What Rich is most proud of is that he has given elementary students the chance to find their musical voices through their instruments. As a child, he was not exposed to music instruction until high school, when a friend suggested he try out for the band. He wanted to give students these opportunities at a younger age and has done that with tremendous success. It's remarkable to hear the 5th and 6th grade bands during their performances and how much they have learned under his direction. Now, after 34 years of teaching, Rich is looking forward to spending more time playing his own instruments, the saxophone and flute, and sharing his music with others. We thank Rich for the gift of music and wish him peace and harmony in his retirement. Congratulations, Rich.
Norton has 3 additional retirements. So I have the honor of speaking for Carol Warner, Lori Larson, and Terry Mosteler. Carol Warner always knew she wanted to be a teacher. So when she attended Southern Connecticut State University, she majored in curriculum and instruction with a concentration in language arts. She went on to UConn to receive her master's, again in curriculum and instruction, and later a 6th-year degree. Carol's first job was teaching English as a second language in West Haven. And her very first students were from a Pakistani family who registered 2 days before the start of school. So she dove in head first. Carol's own children attended Norton. So she started her 27 years in Cheshire as a special education paraprofessional at Dodd that led to a cross certification in special education and a transfer to Norton School. While at Norton, Carol became one of the resident language arts teachers and began the weekly letters to Mrs. Warner's assignments when she and her students shared their academic goals and personal stories through writing. Many students come back to visit Carol to show their appreciation. It isn't surprising that former students remember her so fondly because her warmth and kindness radiates. On behalf of all of your students and colleagues, we want to thank you and wish you all the best in your retirement and your new full-time job as grandma. Lori Larson. When I came to Norton a few years ago and I was introduced to Lori Larson, someone said, she can teach anyone how to read. She works miracles. Sure enough, that proved to be true. Her journey to become a special education teacher and build strong readers started at Southern Connecticut State University and Central Connecticut State University. Then she taught in the Waterford Public Schools for a year before moving to the Wheeler Clinic for the next 16 years as a special education teacher. Lori started her 24 years in Cheshire in the Humiston TLC program, then Chapman, and finally Norton. Lori has spent 40 years in special education, and her Norton family will miss her deeply. As Lori moves into retirement, she looks forward to spending time on the beach near her new home and the birth of her first grandchild. She may even go back to teaching reading again in some capacity because that passion runs deep. Lori became a reading teacher because reading was difficult for her as a child, and she wanted to help kids over those same obstacles. Finally, Lori wanted to thank Cheshire Public Schools and express her appreciation for the support of administrators, trusted colleagues, and lifelong friends she has found here. Lori, we thank you and wish you all the best. And last but certainly not least, Terry Mosteler. Terry began her education in communication disorders by earning a bachelor's degree from Indiana University, followed by a master's degree from UMass Amherst. She spent the first 10 years of her professional life in the medical field, working with patients with traumatic brain injuries, craniofacial abnormalities, and autism. As she continued her work in neurology, she grew more interested in joining public education. So in 1999, she joined Darcy School's DTI program. The following year, she covered a maternity leave at Norton Elementary School, and she never left. Terry has been the Norton speech pathologist for almost 23 years, but her expertise has been shared throughout the district. She has spent some time working in every Cheshire school with 9 different principals and 5 PPS directors. As Terry begins this new life journey, she is looking forward to taking time to appreciate good health and her family, including her daughter's upcoming wedding. She will enjoy sunny days in her new home in Old Saybrook, just a few miles from one of her closest Norton friends. Terry commented that it is difficult to leave Norton and her professional life, but we know she will not miss us nearly as much as we will miss her and all she has given to the students of Cheshire.
Thank you so much. And how about one more round of applause for all of our retirees and what they did for our kids and our community.